Welcome to Beyond Series. We're coming to you out of Newport Beach, California today. We have a very, very special guest, Justin Michael Drury. He was formerly known as DJ Justin Michael, and he has a very, very interesting story and background to share with us. Justin, welcome.
Hey, welcome.
Glad to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So, you know, as I was reading about your background, I understand you worked with artists such as Bruno Mars, DJ Kaskade, I think it was Saint Motel. Very, very unique. So when you thought about being a DJ, where did it all start for you? Did it start early on that you had this passion for music, or how did it come about?
It did. I've always had a passion for music, very young age. You know, I remember probably being 3 or 4 years old, pounding on pots and pans, drums, But then I really discovered that it was my passion when I was probably about 15 years old. I started going to these underground parties, raves, warehouse things, and I really connected with the vibes, the crowd, the energy, the music, and I felt like I wanted to be on that stage and just creating those vibes. And I guess some kids in high school, they go towards being a surfer or a skater or whatever it is, football player. Music and DJing, that was my thing, that was my calling. And I said this in my documentary, but there was a time, I was 15 years old. I remember I stole my parents' car and drove to a rave with a permit. Right. Just that's how bad I really wanted to be there, and ever since then, I knew that it was going to be more of a career path and a passion and career path than anything else.
So a lot of us have desires to be astronauts, football players, but I realized in my life I was never going to be a professional football player or any of those things. With your experience and your passion for music, did you have an inkling that you had the talent to be a DJ and go into music? Or, because a lot of people have passions for lots of things, is what I'm saying, but not everybody has the ability to execute and the skill to execute on the passion. So when did you start to realize, hey, I got a gift here?
I started DJing and playing at these clubs. I actually played when I was 18 years old. I got invited to be a resident at a 21 over club. And it was very interesting because I wasn't old enough, right? So I would show up at the door and the bouncer, they would have to escort me to the DJ booth. And if I had to use the restroom, they had to escort me to the restroom, and then they had to escort me out when I was finished with the set. I didn't really, I was doing it more for fun. Obviously I wanted it to be a lifetime career and passion, and it was my dream. But I think what really got me is, all the 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds at the club, they would always come up to me afterwards and say, I love your music. Can I get a CD? Can I buy a CD from you? Where can I hear more of your music? And I started building this fan base. And I think that's when I really realized, like, what I'm doing something right here. I'm connecting with this.
Just so the audience is clear, what you've done is not just replay other artists' music and mix it in a way where people are digging the groove and the vibe. You're actually creating your own music and playing it for the audience, and they're coming back with a response that's like, this is incredible.
Right. Well, there was a transition point. So I think when I was about 20 years old, I really realized that this is a calling and this is something that I have to keep going forward with. The only way to do that was to produce my own music and to release it on record labels and, make my own record label and start getting my music out there, not only locally throughout Southern California and Los Angeles, but get it out there, nationwide or even internationally. And the only way to do that was to produce and create your own music, become an artist, so to speak.
So what were the obstacles in that process? Because that's a big leap from playing, well understood music from regular mainstream artists to taking your own music, your own creativity. What challenges did you see in that transition or that process?
Well, I was never really musically trained. I didn't have, I had some piano lessons when I was a little kid, but I wasn't super disciplined with that. I think learning, the software, learning how to produce, learning how to work with other musicians, creating the record, putting it all together, spending countless hours in the studio. 10,000 hour rule, just practice until it's perfect. And even then, when is it really perfect? That's the question. Probably never. But I don't know if I answered your question or
No, that was perfect. So you got to a point with such ability, and now you're developing a fan base and a following, that you start working with the likes of Bruno Mars. And we're going to play one of the songs that you produced. Can you tell us about that song and what that experience was like connecting with Bruno?
Yeah. So I met Bruno Mars before he was Bruno Mars. He was just Peter Hernandez. He was Bruno. He had a nickname, Bruno. And he was just this kid. And we met and got connected through a mutual friend. And we both had that same passion of music. And he said, hey, let's work together. Let's try to create something. And sooner or later, we were working almost every other day for about 6 years. And it's funny, there was one day I remember he came to me, this is right before he got signed, and he said, hey Justin, what do you think about the name Bruno Mars? And I said, Mars? And I'm like, yeah, where did that stem from? And he said, I don't know, I just want to be kind of out of this world, I want to be on a different planet, I'm right. Bruno Mars, and that's fantastic, go for it, And
was he talking to Elon Musk perhaps?
maybe,
right.
I don't know, but yeah, he is exactly what everyone sees him as. He's an amazing artist. He plays every single instrument. He sings, every melody that comes out of the guy's mouth is a hit record. Mm-hmm. So it was fantastic and amazing experience to be able to work with someone of that caliber and really see him grow from zero to hero. And
yeah. And you're part of that journey. And so the song we're going to hear, talk to us about that song that did pretty well.
The song, yeah. So I signed to a label called Ultra Records. They're based in New York. They are one of the premier, biggest record labels for dance music, electronic dance music in probably the world. Mostly the U.S., but they have a really strong following. And so Bruno and I worked on the track. Usually how it goes is the producer will come up with the beats and the melodies and the track. And then what happens is, we bring in a songwriter, which is Bruno, and just collaboration, working in the studio, writing lyrics together, coming up with melodies, making edits, and then just really perfecting this, track, this record. So that's kind of how it all went down.
And is that a 6-month process, a 2-month process, a year process?
That's the crazy thing about making music is sometimes it happens. A record could be developed in a day. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's 2 years. You never really know. This specific song was about a year.
And what's the name of the song?
Her World Goes On.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very, very famous song. What are some common myths or misperceptions about being a DJ or music producer?
I think a lot of people think, that's the perfect dream job and career, and really, it's really like any other entrepreneur or business lifestyle. You really have to treat it as a business. It's easy to get wound up in the party and everything else that goes around with it. Mm-hmm. Obviously, majority of the people that go to these nightclubs, they work normal jobs, or they work 5 days a week, and they go there to kind of get stressed out or have a good time or listen to music. Where a DJ, it's your day-to-day job, so you really have to take it seriously, and you have to be disciplined, and you can't really mess around with all the shenanigans that go
caught up in it.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, you're going downhill real fast.
Yeah, that's for sure. So if somebody wanted to start a career as a DJ or a music producer, what are some common roadblocks you're going to encounter along the way?
There's a lot of rejection. I think that's true with anything. I mean, with Spciy Mo, which we'll probably talk about, I deal with that all the time. It's really building thick skin. For example, I'll work on I used to work on a record in the studio for months on end and get so excited about it, and then when the finished product is there, you feel like it's your best work ever, and you go to pitch it to an A&R or a record label, and you just get turned down left and right. That doesn't feel good. And so you really have to build thick skin, and you really have to, just move forward and just do whatever it takes. I think that's a good lesson for anything.
Absolutely. What's really amazing is you have this incredible music career. You're dealing with the world's top artists, in essence. And then you make a transition in life to become the co-founder and CEO of Spciy Mo's, which is a cheese spread that's within all of Whole Foods throughout the Southwestern United States. So as I think about that, a lot of people have fear about any change. There's so much uncertainty. And if I've cultivated for 18 years a music career, why would you want to jump to a whole different career? So walk the audience through what that experience was like and what motivated you to become this entrepreneur in a radically different segment, different industry.
It was a leap of faith, to be honest. Taking a step back, if you don't mind, I was able to travel the world. I was able to travel to Asia and Europe and Brazil and Mexico and Canada, DJing at all these nightclubs. I got to experience cultured food from all around the world. So I became a foodie in my own right, which is, most people become foodies, right? I think it's a natural progression. And I found this product. I met Mo, and I fell in love with the product, and I really took a leap of faith. I think there was a point in my life where I really felt that being a DJ and being part of the music industry was not a sustainable lifestyle, and I was looking for something maybe more long term, and I just went for it. I just put my whole music career on the back burner and just drove forward and didn't look back. There's times where right now I look back and I hurts my soul a little bit, because that was my passion and my main career, and I miss music to this day. I think about it all the time, but I think what I want to do, my new dream, my new passion, is to make Spciy Mo successful, and then be able to go back to music as more of a passion, more of a hobby, and not have to make monetary success from it. And I think that's when my best work will shine.
Where there's not the financial pressure, it's just coming from the heart, for example.
Exactly. When there's financial pressure as an artist, you tend to do things that are not you. You tend to cater to society and what's trending and what's popular, and so your music isn't really what you signed. It's not what you signed up for in the beginning. And through the 18 years of my DJ career and my music producing career, I realized that I was starting to make music that I wasn't really proud of, and I want to get back to those roots. So I think Spciy Mo's is a great transition for that, and hopefully that will become a reality.
Absolutely. When we come back after this message, we'll go into what lessons you learned as a DJ that gave him the skill sets to become the CEO of Spciy Mo's.
Serenitex is focused on eliminating the biggest challenge to migraine management, namely the subjective diagnosis of migraines and standard migraine drug therapy that results in undesirable effects and unproven results. Healthcare and lost productivity costs from migraines is $78 billion a year, and employers lose 113 million lost workdays from migraines. But did you know that more than 95% of those with chronic migraines have never sought help, received a diagnosis, or been treated? Serenitex has discovered a patentable technology solution for the non-invasive detection and screening of migraines. We've tested our approach on actual migraine patients, and it works. To learn more, visit serenitex.com.
Welcome back. Justin, when I think about the transition you made as a DJ for 18 years, now into Spciy Mo's, there had to have been some parallels as a DJ music producer in the business acumen you learned in that phase of your career, being able to transition and use those talents and skill sets as a CEO of Spciy Mo's. So as you think about that, what specifically prepared you for the role as a CEO of Spciy Mo's?
As being an artist, a music producer, DJ, you're really a one-man band. You have to do everything yourself. You can't really rely on anybody, especially when you're first starting. You know, you don't have a manager, you don't have a booking agent, you don't have a marketing team, you don't have a sales team. So I had to wear a hat for all different facets of the business. It very similar, parallel to Spciy Mo's. You know, I manage the production team. I'm manage the marketing team and our brand ambassadors and our demos. Just every facet of the business that you can think of. Do my own bookkeeping. Part of the creative side with artwork and marketing materials. It's all very, very similar. I took that discipline from being a DJ and just really jumping into every hat and bringing it into Spciy Mo's and doing the same thing now.
And I would imagine that to become successful, you were probably working 80-hour weeks. I mean, you were all in, very committed. So you mentioned that you're now in the Southwest United States, you're all into, I guess, Whole Foods. Talk to the audience about what that transition was like, that experience. I mean, Whole Foods is a nationally recognized chain. Right. What was it like to get your product into Whole Foods, and then tell the audience what is the products you sell? What are the different brands?
Sure. Yeah, I'll tell you a little story about Spciy Mo. So Mo, he's the original creator. He's our executive chef. So he made this product probably about 10 years ago. He was an employee of Whole Foods, and he made this recipe for his family and his friends. And then he showed it to Whole Foods, and they started selling it there. It was in Manhattan Beach area, El Segundo. It sold really well. And I was just a customer of Whole Foods. I like natural food, natural products. I was a foodie, like I said before. Sure. I met Mo. I tried the product. And it really resonated with me. A little bit about myself. My family's Dutch, so my mom is Dutch. So I used to eat Gouda cheese when I was a little kid. I was also born in Los Angeles, so I had that Angelino side of the salsas and the Hispanic culture and the spices. So it resonated with me because it was this Dutch Gouda cheese blended with fresh cilantro, green onions, diced habaneros, roasted jalapenos, which is, if you think about it, it's kind of like a salsa, but with cheese, right? And I fell in love with the product, and I became friends with Mo. And I said, hey, Mo, how come you don't have this on a label or a brand? What's going on? And he told me, hey, I'm not a business guy. I'm a foodie, I'm a chef, I'm an artist. And I had, both of that. I was an artist, but I was also, I had to run my own record label. I had to read contracts for Ultra Records or Armada Records or any record label I was signed to. So I had that business sense. I also went to UCLA, so I had a lot of discipline with research and all that. And so, Mo and I just connected, and I said, hey, Mo, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a try. And, here we are, 5 years later. And we started in 4 Whole Foods, and we just really grew organically, and now we're over 60. So we're in all the Whole Foods in Southern Pacific region, so Vegas, Arizona, San Diego, up to San Luis Obispo. We will be launching the pavilions this month, which is
congratulations.
Nice. Thank you.
That's huge.
Thank you. And then Bristol Farms and Lazy Acres is coming soon too. So 2019 is really the year of scaling the business and growing the business.
And is this a national play? Plan to go nationally?
Absolutely. Nice. Yeah. We've been working R&D with the product for the past 3 years. We're trying to extend the shelf life. It's a very fresh, perishable item, which makes it very challenging and difficult.
What is the shelf life today?
Today is 28 days from production,
okay.
But we have hopes to bring it to 6 weeks. It's still a fresh item, and we want to keep that. So.
And all productions in locally, California?
Yeah, we actually run our own production. So our company was established in El Segundo. Our facility is in downtown Los Angeles. So we produce everything fresh. Everything's made to order. All the cheese, we actually import it from Holland, so it comes from the Netherlands.
Wow.
Comes by refrigerated vessel, and then truck from New York, and then and then we do all the mixing, blending right here in LA. So
that's fascinating. And congratulations on your success and continued success. So one of the things I think is interesting in a career is you went through the DJ experience or Spciy Mo's, is I've discovered that there's recipes for success that mentors gave to me, people that I worked with that spoke into my life, gave me some wisdom that really resonated. But the only thing was I heard it later. I mean, I could have heard it 10 years earlier and been that much more successful. So as you think back, what are one or two recipes for success that you gathered in working maybe with Bruno Mars or record producers that if you would have known sooner, you'd have been that much more effective?
Risk taking is one, and obviously I did that 5 or 6 years ago with Spciy Mo's. I think people have brilliant ideas, and it takes a lot to execute. And I feel like that's a challenge, to really just go for it and do the research, just be diligent and just move forward. And day by day. I think that I never thought I could run and operate and grow Spciy Mo's or have a natural food product brand from a DJ music producing background. But you know what? That was the risk that I took, and I just went for it. And yeah, there's a huge learning curve, right, with anything.
Right.
But just conquer your fears.
So risk taking, highly prepared, put in a lot of massive work, massive hours,
absolutely.
Dedication,
discipline. Yeah, absolutely.
So great. If you can go back in time and give yourself advice, what would it be?
That's a good one. I think that I kind of answered the question, previously with taking risks. Just really, do what you love. Be passionate about what you do. I think there was a point in my DJ music career where I started following the trends. I started chasing the money, and I think I would have been even more successful at it if I would have just stayed with what I loved. Because the interesting thing about the music industry is it goes in waves. Mm-hmm. 1 year hip hop or pop is very popular, then dance music or so forth. And different styles of genres kind of go through waves. And if I would have stuck with what I felt in my heart, I could have caught that wave instead of kind of chasing another wave.
Right.
Yeah,
I always use analogy that we could be the salmon swimming upstream, or we could be the dolphin that goes with the wave, right? And just, surfers don't look to create the wave. They just find the coolest wave, the biggest wave to surf, and kind of let it take them. And it sounds like a little bit of what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there anything we haven't covered that you'd like to share with the audience?
No, just go, check us out, Spciy Mo's. We're at every single Whole Foods in the Southern Pacific region. Little shout out to my team, my other business partners, Tony Koo and Darwin Alarde, Mauricio Salguero. Great guys, and obviously I couldn't have done it without them. So everyone's a great team. We work together, and look forward to what the future brings.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Jess, for coming today.
That's
it from Beyond Series, Warp today from John Barbados. Check him out at South Coast Plaza. Look for Siam. He set me up today. He's a phenomenal person. You can also find us on Beyond Ben Bobo on the web, Beyond Ben Bobo on YouTube, LinkedIn. And until next time, remember, becoming is better than being.
When we founded Stradling in 1975, we made a commitment to helping our clients to succeed and create opportunities for business growth throughout California and beyond. Our people share cutting-edge focus in guiding the critical transactions and disputes of our clients. And we've developed a deep bench of contacts and resources to get the job done. As trusted advisors to technology, life science, software, and medical device companies, we've invested in building our expertise, developing the best of legal talent, and the readiness to serve the business community. From our commitment to our clients to our deep involvement in the communities we serve, we understand our job is your success.